I very much welcome the opportunity here today, Minister, to speak on social enterprises, and I welcome your opening statement. And I think it's really, really important that we support social enterprises. And if I may, Minister, I might just highlight some of the great work that is happening in my own constituency. And I do so to really just emphasise some of the really, really valuable work that is happening across Mayo. One, for example, Kilmovee Community Housing Centre. Kilmovee Community Housing Centre, Minister. This is a small community, but the social enterprise there are doing tremendous work. Work in terms of they are an approved housing body. They run social homes in the community. They provide Meals on Wheels in the community. They run after club school, promote heritage activities as well, Minister. And indeed, they even support the young people with Homework Club as well. They also have a Thursday Club, where they offer hot meals and bingo to some of the senior citizens of this area. And in an age where we are trying to combat social isolation, it is this type of work that is so fundamentally important in our community. And they have done great work as well, Minister, in relation to the AstroTurf in that community, and also, Minister, the loop walk has been a huge asset to that community, and indeed there are plans as well for more houses, 10 further houses in the area, as well as a group home. And I would like to commend the great work of the manager, Trish Duffy, Tommy Horan, who is the chairperson of the board, who has done tremendous community work. Indeed, I was, during the storm, Minister, Tommy Horan and I and a number of other people delivered hot meals to those people in the community who were without power. And I think without these types of social enterprises, that local knowledge of elderly people, of senior citizens, of vulnerable people would be lost. And indeed, there are constant and significant financial pressures that these organisations are under. So I do welcome your opening statement and your commitment to supporting this sector, but I hope and I want to work with you, Minister, to ensure that this happens and it's felt on the ground. I also want to commend the good work of Sheila Hunt, who is the former manager there in Kilmovee, and who laid the foundations, it must be said, for the great work that has happened as well. Indeed, closer to my own area, Brickens Community Meals on Wheels, another social enterprise, Minister. This is a fantastic organisation run by the wonderful Lorraine Lowry. Now, I want to tell you about this the Brickens, Minister. Brickens is it's the epicentre of hundreds of Meals on Wheels that go out to elderly people and vulnerable people right across our part of Mayo. They do tremendous work, and it must be said, during the storm, it was again this organisation that was at the front in terms of assisting people in the worst number of weeks of a particular time. Indeed, Eugene Waldron, a local engineer, was the driving force and remains a driving force as well behind the Brickens Meals on Wheels. Clore IRD, again, runs social homes, assists elderly people, senior citizens and vulnerable people in the Claremorris area. Indeed, they administer and assist with the Warmer Home Scheme as well, which is a very, very important aspect, and I think they should be commended for the great work they are doing. And I also want to raise here before you, Minister, the great work of Mayo Abbey. Mayo Abbey is a small community, but they are really producing some wonderful activities. For example, the training centre in Mayo Abbey is a force for young people, for all types of people, in terms of the activation of the labour market. And they are doing wonderful work in terms of the organic centre there, also social homes and so on. So this is another wonderful organisation. The Castlebar Social Services as well, doing tremendous work, again assisting and delivering hundreds of meals across the Castlebar area. Indeed, I met with them recently, Minister, in Bushwells recently, and again they talked about the pressures, it must be said, financially in relation to this. Then Ball Community Centre as the hub in relation to that community. A wonderful area, a wonderful community, and indeed the Ball Community Resource Development is doing tremendous work in Ball as well. Indeed, there are many, many others right across Mayo. But one of the major issues, Minister, they consistently raise, and that is the issue of the CE scheme, the RSS scheme, and the TO scheme. Now, Minister, I know you're from a rural constituency as well, so you'll be very familiar with some of these schemes. But the issue that is consistently raised, Minister, is the idea that it's particularly difficult to get individuals onto them schemes. We are in an economy of full employment, that must be mentioned as well. But there is a significant issue in terms of the money that is actually, the threshold, Minister, I do believe needs to be increased, because it's simply not enough to ensure that these schemes are viable. Because these people on RSS schemes, on the TO schemes, on the CE scheme, do tremendous work. Minister, these are the people preparing Meals on Wheels. These are the people cleaning our graveyards, cleaning the street. Really, really important work. And we're not offering them enough to stay on them schemes, and I think it's really important. I spoke to a gentleman recently who is on one of these schemes, who is doing great work in the local cemetery, but he said the additional money for being on the scheme, I'm actually losing money by the time I drive across to the different parts and different locations where he's required to work. And I think that needs to be looked at, it needs to be addressed, because I can tell you as well, in Ballandine, that Meals on Wheels service effectively had to close recently, and one of the reasons it had to close was because of manpower, and the reason, and the fundamental reason, was because they could not find individuals that could be recruited onto these schemes. So, Minister, if I could ask you, and I believe you're sincere in terms of supporting these wonderful organisations, I believe this is a fundamental part of addressing this. These organisations, of course, they have staff, but a huge bulk of the work is done from individuals on the Community Employment Scheme, on the Rural Social Scheme, and indeed on the TO scheme as well. And Minister, finally, in my short remaining time, if I could raise another point with you, and it is the fact that when wage increases happen, when there are improvements to employment and so on, the social enterprises do not receive the additional funding from central government, and it does cause a significant pressure on them, and I think that needs to be looked at as well, Minister, because these organisations are doing tremendous work. They must be protected, they must be supported, and we cannot afford to lose the wonderful organisations who are the glue in our communities.